Welcome to Deconstructing Chatbots. I'm Priyanka Vergadia, and today's episode is a special one because we are going to visit SpringML's office in Pleasanton, California, and sit down with Dhruv Hemmady, their expert at managing conversational AI projects. Stay tuned because we will talk about real-world use cases of conversational AI, how some of them have come to life starting from the idea to the finished experience. Without further delay, let's go and chat with Dhruv.
My name is Dhruv Hemmady. I'm a technical project manager at SpringML. SpringML is a Google Cloud Premier Partner in advanced analytics and machine learning. We work on AI and ML use cases across, computer vision, chatbots, predictive modeling, increasingly data migration as well. We founded the company about 4 years ago now. Started as a small, local team of less than 10 employees. We've grown exponentially since then. We're about 100 folks all over the globe, 4 different offices. It's been an exciting journey. We feel like we're just getting started in a lot of ways. The founders started with the core belief that machine learning and artificial intelligence will really transform the way enterprises do business in the future. And that's really our mission, is to help them incorporate AI and ML across their business. Google is probably the leader in AI and ML, and we've leveraged a lot of the best Google technologies, from TensorFlow to AutoML to Dialogflow for building chatbots, and really helped customers accelerate the time they see impact. We've seen use cases both B2B as well as consumer chatbots, spanning a number of different industries, from retail to banking to pharmaceutical. One that we did recently for a big pharma company, helping their product managers easily retrieve information about different drug studies as well as regulatory hurdles. We also worked on a cool consumer bot for a retailer and helping them provide a gift recommender for their customers. I think the biggest learning, as I see it, is that design is fundamental to building any successful chatbot. Unlike traditional IVR systems, chatbots can handle nonlinear conversations. And so really working with business stakeholders to figure out what the ideal conversation flow looks like will be essential to building that bot that works for their users.
Thanks, Dhruv, for having me here today at SpringML office in Pleasanton. It's such a nice day today.
Absolutely, really nice.
So, what do you mean by conversation flow? How do you design a conversation?
We ask a number of different questions initially, right off the bat. First, you want to understand, what are the key business objectives of the chatbot? What is your workflow like? Will a human be part of the process, or should the bot be able to handle all questions? Then we move to some more tactical types of things. So how many unique types of questions do you want the bot to handle? Are most of those questions static? So is there a general response for a question? Or are they dynamic questions? So is it dependent on the specific information that the user provides?
So like connecting to a backend database or something?
Absolutely.
Once you have kicked off a project, what do you see as some of the implementation recommendations that you provide to users?
So if you're a new customer, we recommend that you start with a 4-week POC, just to kind of showcase the art of what is possible. Maybe throw in some static and dynamic questions for some variety. We start with, a week of requirement gathering, followed by a couple weeks of agile development. We'll take your feedback into account, and finally a week of user acceptance testing, just to make sure that users are comfortable and everything is working effectively.
What happens after maybe a month or so?
Sure. So after about a month, that's when we move into a production phase. So that'll be a couple more months where we add more questions, both static and dynamic. We may add a user interface, and then we may release the bot through multiple channels, including Google Assistant and Google Home, but others like Facebook Messenger and Slack.
So Dhruv, you've talked about a little bit in terms of how to implement the chatbots. You've talked about some examples. Can you show me a backend infrastructure and architecture of an implemented chatbot?
Absolutely. Let me show you.
Awesome. All right, we are with Dhruv, and he's going to walk us through how some of these chatbots work.
Yeah, so let's take a look at one that we did for a coffee shop.
Ooh, coffee. I love coffee. Can we get donuts too?
Absolutely. That's what the chatbot will do for you. So this chatbot basically helps the coffee shop automate their customer service.
Awesome.
So as you can see, we have aggregated some of the most popular items at the bottom here, just to allow users to easily select one of the items. So for example, if you want to order a couple donuts, you can select the item at the bottom. And as you can see to the right, we're basically showing you your order in real time, so you can see how much you're paying.
And the front end, is it created with App Engine?
It is, yes. So this is deployed on App Engine.
Okay.
And one other item that's kind of cool is you can select what's most popular this week.
Okay.
So for that, we're able to aggregate over all data over the past week and figure out, what was the most ordered item.
Oh, that is amazing.
Would you be interested to see what that was?
Sure.
Okay. So we click on that. Oh, wow. It looks like some more glazed donuts.
I think I've had enough for today.
Enough for today. Okay.
Yeah. So that actually, the coffee shop demo itself was pretty enlightening to understand how the front end would work. Can you show me an example which talks about a little bit of back end, behind the scenes stuff?
Absolutely. So we actually did a chatbot recently for a Google internal team.
Perfect.
For Google Collections.
Okay.
And really what this chatbot does is it helps Google customers easily look up their account information, invoice details, just details about their account in general.
Okay.
For example, if you're, a customer at Telemart, you can easily look up information specific to Telemart and only once you're authenticated as a Telemart customer.
Okay, so what does the front end look like for that one?
So for that one, we go to the bot. So as you can see, this is a main Google Help page. And to the bottom left, we have a section for Google Collections.
Yeah.
So you can click on that. And then you have to log in with your details. And again, only if you're a Telemart customer are you authenticated to see Telemart invoices. So in this case, we'll use those email details. And now we're on the main Google Collections page.
And I see the chat window that can come up.
Absolutely. So it's a pop-up to the bottom right. So if you click on the pop-up, you can now start using the chatbot.
Oh, perfect. So before we actually start to use the chatbot with Telemart as an example, can you show some of the back-end interconnections between the dialog flow interface and the front end and what's in the behind the scenes?
Absolutely. So, basically users are interacting with the web UI deployed on App Engine. Now that App Engine layer sits on top of Dialogflow, and Dialogflow is where all of the user questions are built in. Now Dialogflow integrates to a couple of applications. It integrates to BigQuery. In this case, BigQuery is where all of our data is stored, all the information around account details and invoices. And then the actual documents themselves, they're stored in cloud storage. And what that does is basically allows us to email those documents back to the user after they ask questions.
Okay, so are you going to show the example where we see the email coming out?
Absolutely. Let's take a look. Say I wanted to find my latest invoices. So it asks for a company name. So we're at Telmart. Then as you can see, the chatbot responds with the 3 latest unpaid invoices. So the invoice numbers, the due date, as well as the amounts. And then if you go to your email, you can see that those just arrived.
Oh, great.
You can take a look at the copies.
That is perfect. Can we also look at Dialogflow interface and some of the intents that were created in there?
Yes, absolutely. So as you can see, each of these items here are different intents. So in that latest invoices example, if you click on it, so we fed in some different training phrases. So those are different ways that a user can ask a particular question. Recent invoice, latest unpaid invoices. And as I mentioned before, the cool thing about Dialogflow is that it has the ML and AI capability to learn over time. So if you ask something similar, it should know that that's latest invoices is what in fact you're asking for.
Well, awesome. That was great. Thank you so much for giving us all that information, starting from how you started to design the bot up to the point where how you created these integrations with BigQuery as well as with GCS. Thanks, Dhruv, for walking us through that amazing demo.
You're very welcome.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks shared by Dhruv today to bring your conversational AI use case to life. We cannot wait to hear more about your specific use case in the comments below. If you like this video and would like to see more such content, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.